Hello and welcome back to turn 2 of Scenario 37, Panzer Solo conversion game. So we're up at turn 2. Turn 1 just had us coming on the board here, and we discovered a S-35 just up here in the near the woods on board 27, sitting in some brush. This turn we will continue to move up the road, or the trail, and the road here to try to discover some more and try to clear the road here so we can get across and hopefully off the board by the end of the game here. We've got some difficulties here because we do have some unknown potential units over here. We'll probably discover number 6, number 3, number 2, probably number 1 as well. That's kind of in range coming across here as we go along. As I've done before, I will have this already taped with a Vassal module, and I'll kind of walk you through this in terms of what happened for game turn 2. It's kind of interesting what actually occurred. The biggest thing with that S-35 tank up here is we've got to be careful with it because that tank is dangerous to us, but also tough to knock out. If we take a look at his card here on the tank cards here, if I come over as the French and take a look at the S-35 over here, you'll see that his armor ratings are fairly good for the time. Looking at the level, he's got a turret front of 10 and a hull front of 10, and on the side rear shots, he's got actually turret front of 12 and hull front of 12, and then turret side of 10 and a hull side of 7, which are pretty good for the time, considering if we look back at the German tanks, namely the Panzer 4D, you'll see that their armor ratings are all below 10. We have 8 and 6 for the hull front, and then we have 10 and 7 for the sides. So it's going to be a little bit difficult. And if you notice the penetration values for the 75, they're not that great. You're going to have to get pretty darn close to actually get a hit that will knock them out. So we're going to have to use some maneuver to go after them, with hopefully not getting in their line of fire and be able to take some shots. We've got some advantages. The one-man turrets for the S-35s are going to be a bit of a hindrance for their shooting and maneuvering as we go along. They'll be able to move, but coordinating will be a little bit difficult for them with the one-man turrets. So there is some things that will hopefully play to our advantage over here. So first off, I have actually gone through and done some of the spotting, the basic spotting here. We can see the S-35 up here. He can see most of our units over here, except the ones in the brush, which are right in here. And we're going to continue to move. I am going to try to use some fire actions over here, because you can see here I got some Panzer 4Ds as well as some half tracks that have moved up into this hex. I'm going to use some fires over here to actually lay smoke in here to provide a bit more of hindrance and give us a maximum amount of survivability to get some Panzer 4s up here into position. So with that being said, let's move forward and take a look at turn 2. So with turn 2, first off, we have our initiative roll. We need to roll greater than 50. Now we will get a plus 20 on the dice. And when we roll it, got a 34, plus 20 is 54. We just squeak over, so we've got the first initiative. And with that, we will actually fire first and move second. Now, I don't think the the French are going to move this turn. They've got a pretty static defense here, so we will be skipping over the French move on here, and they will be more in a static defense, looking to actually shoot and overwatch fire on our units as they move up the board. So a little bit of range checking here to see how far they can go. Then we actually come in and have one of these units over here, HT1. There we go. These are our mortar-bound half tracks that has a mortar actually in there. So they could actually see up into these hexes. So they have actually trying to lob some smoke into these hexes. The first one actually missed. The second one, I believe, if we go through here, the second one's firing. And they actually hit and drop some smoke on here. Now, smoke within Panzer, very simple. As long as you roll below the smoke ammo number, whatever hex you are in range for and have visibility to, you will place smoke in that hex. So that's our first set of shots. Next ones, we are actually going to fire Panzer IV-Ds in this hex. There's 3 Panzer IV-Ds, 301, 302, 303. That will fire and first target this hex right here, right next door, trying to build a little bit of a wall of smoke for our other Panzer IVs to move up with. So a couple shots, first one's miss, second one is a miss, and the third one, once we got the counters taken care of, third one is a hit with the smoke. So smoke is placed on this here. So this gives us a little bit of wall, protecting us a little bit from these. So these Panzer IVs can try to move up and close the range within here. They're going to have to get within 2 to 3 hexes. Remember, these hexes are 100-meter hexes, so that's still quite a distance away from them. But they're going to have to close that far to potentially get a shot that's going to actually do some damage on there as well. So we've laid down our smoke, and there we go. Now it's the French fire, which, checking the ranges on this, we see that this one here is going to check, and he has no command. He's definitely within range, so we can actually see them over here. But when I checked for command on this, he rolled an 85, which on our solo chart, which I'll show you down here real quick, you'll see that the command over there is 85 or better is no command right there, right in here. So he actually did not get an opportunity to shoot, which I think is legitimate. He could be watching other places and other things going on. So he's not going to be able to shoot. So moving along, checking some others, he can't see him. This this S-35 that we spotted over here, they're going to actually hold off. They're going to use their opportunity fire, potentially opportunity fire to do that. So there's no command going on him other than the opportunity fire capability. So now moving along, just checking some more ranges here just to see where things are going to line up when the Germans move. There was no French movement, as you saw, and as I talked about before. But now we're going to have our recon units start moving ahead. So here we have our recon unit. Oh, where are we here? Here we are. Our recon unit right here. He's actually moving forward. Going to try to get him over in this area to try to spot some of those other units to the south in the woods. Okay. Now number 2 over here, that's now in range. They're going to check to see if they could opportunity fire on him if they've got the command, and they don't. They actually get a no command, and now he continues his movement up to the edge of the field. So now, checking some lines of sight here, he can't see him. Number 6 can't see him. And number 1 now, they've got a range of 8. Now they can actually see them from here. Because remember, from our spotting chart back over here, if I go over here, there we go. Our spotting chart, just doing this spotting for you. So there's a vehicle, base of 20. Now remember, there's a -3 for the low visibility of the early morning, so that brings us down to a 3. They are moving though, which is going to be a +2, 1, 2 up to 1, 2 up to 10. So at that point, they can actually see them right here because they're a range of 8. So at this point, they are going to actually take check for command. They roll a 71, which is a fire, which turns into an opportunity fire, or excuse me, a Overwatch fire. And they're now going to take a shot. Now they've got a 30% chance of hitting them with all the modifiers factored in. And they roll a 19, which actually they get a hit. Checking for location, they roll a 6, which is the hull front over here, which if we look at the hull front of the 2C, hull front on the side is going to be a level 4. At the level range, it's 4. So it's a firing of 4. Now, remember, these are guns that are firing them. That's the primary weapon over here. So it's the anti-tank gun. At a range of 8, which uses the 9 column, they've got 11. So very easily you can see their penetration is going to be able to penetrate them. There's no variable penetration roll because it's high enough over that we don't need to. So we're just going to roll the hit, and it's a hit. It's a hull damage. So that Panzer 2C has a hull damage, which is going to degrade their movement, basically cut it in half. So instead of having 4 movements across country, they'll have just 2 movements across country. But that's where they end that's where they're going to end their turn for now. We also have to do a bailout check, which is going to be a 30 or less. They'll bail out. Greater than 30, they'll be okay. They roll a 41. So they stay with the tank, but they do have some hull damage, which is going to slow them down. Okay, so now that they've been hit, they're going to check to see if they can spot them. Remember, there was a range of 8, and within there, they're going to be spotting at a anti-tank gun. So they're going to use the soft target column. So it's automatic -3 for the early morning. Now it goes back up 3 because they fired, so it's back up to 10. All right, but then it's down 1 for the light woods that they're in, because these are light woods down here. So it's down to 5. But remember, these are recon vehicles, so it's a +1. So they go back up to 10. So they've actually spotted the unit in the woods. Now we're going to check to see if there's anything there. They roll a 23. So that actually spots, rolls a 23, which actually spots the unit. And then they roll for how many units are there, which again is on our solo chart table down here. We roll a 15, which is going to be 3 units are actually over in that area. So we're going to roll for the first unit. First unit's 91. Well, guess what? That's going to be another one of our S-35s. So there's got 1 S-35 over here. Then we're going to roll for the second unit. Rolls a 24, which is going to be an anti-tank gun. So there was an anti-tank gun there to shoot at us. And then the third unit rolls an 86. It's another S-35. So we've got 3 of our S-35s now discovered. Not in great positions for us, I must say, because they'll have good crossfire as we come through this gap between these 2 hedgerows. But we've got 2 S-35s plus an anti-tank gun over there. So we're going to have to deal with them with that. So now I go with the placement. First unit rolls a 1. So he's going to be placed right there. Second unit, the anti-tank gun and the gun. First one, that actually placed in the heavy woods over here, which doesn't feel right. I'm actually going to move him to the light woods here. That's just my discretion on that. There we go. And then the truck will move right there beside of him. And then the last unit is the last S-35, and he rolls a 9. He'll be placed in with the anti-tank gun as well. So we've got those discovered. Not a happy sight for me, I must say, because having those tanks and anti-tank gun lining up across this zone of fire, or this fire lane, I should say, it's going to be pretty hard to get after them. But I've got some ideas. So next, continuing on, I'm going to start to move some of these other tanks behind, trying to get around. So he's going to move up over here. He can see them now. All right, Andy's moving. So he's got a range of 7. And he's actually going to let him go in favor of to see where he goes to, and then take the final shot when he's actually at a range of 4, which is going to be a better shot for him coming across here. So now the 204 S-35 is firing at the 204 of the Panzer IV. So he's got a 28% chance to hit. Rolls a 32, very close. That was dangerously close to it, but he missed. So the smoke came in very handy to actually inhibit the French firing. So he missed. So his opportunity fire is done. So the next one's coming up. And now at this point, number 6 back here is going to do a range check. And notice he's a 9. That's within range. He can see him, so he's going to take he's going to try to take an opportunity fire. First, he checks command, rolls an 11. That's going to be a fire command. I should say Overwatch fire. So he's going to take the shot over here. So number 6 is firing at 203, 40% chance of a hit. He rolls a 30. That's a hit. Now checking location, it's a 4. So it's on the turret side. So let's take a look at that card here just to see what that looks like. So this is the Panzer IV. It's going to hit on the turret side and a level shot. It's going to be an armor rating of 4. Now the French gun, if I remember correctly, the range on that was 9, I think. Yeah, because he was in range. He's going to hit with an 11. So that's definitely going to penetrate. And as I go through here, it's going to be 11 to, actually 4, not 5. 11 to 4. And that's going to penetrate. Let's see what he does for damage. Rolls a 10, so that's a knockout. So the French have knocked out one of my attacking panzers. So we'll change the markers out here. Now we'll check for spotting. See if anybody can spot him. Not really, because he's out of range. So I'm going to have to move something up to spot him. I don't have anything in there, but he has fired. So technically, he gets a spot fire marker placed on him so that he can have potential visibility by another tank that moves up. Because remember, all this is simultaneous, or trying to be simultaneous as much as possible. So next we're moving along, and we're going to have another tank move up and come down the road. Another one, move down the road. Okay, so now I'm just checking spotting, because what we're going to do is move up one of our other recons. This is a recon unit over here, Panzer 2C. He's actually going to move up, and he should be able to spot it if he gets close enough. So he's going to come up here, and now he's at a range of 8. And he's going to now go to 7. So now he's within range. He should be able to do a spot check for him. And, obviously he's within range, so we can see him. Checking activation. Rolls a 6. So that means there's something there. And then checking for number of units, rolling 49, gets 2 units in that hex. Okay, so we've now discovered some more units in front of us that we've got to tackle. So let's see what they are. First unit rolls an H-35. So there's another tank. Not as dangerous as the S-35, but there's an H-35 there. Could be good blocking or going after these recon units that we have. So second unit rolls a 35. There we go. Another anti-tank gun appears in these light woods. So now we go placement. There's our tanks out there. So the first one, the tank, is going to be placed hex number 2. So he goes in there and turns like that. One thing to comment on with these placements, I may get comments, I may not. It's completely up to you. You may be saying, well, wait a minute, aren't you putting them in the wrong hexes? The placements based upon the dial on the board 27 over there would have them placed in different locations. I'm actually using, and this is where this is up to my discretion, I'm actually using the placement from board 28. Just because it's a little easier because I'm facing upward with the board, and it'd be a little bit difficult to kind of see where everything is going. So I'm actually using the placement from board 28. So if you see that, that's the reason why I'm placing it there. So then we're continuing on here with the other placement. The truck is going to go over in that hex, and then the gun is going to be placed right here, and he's going to be firing. So he actually did fire an anti-tank gun at us. Both will be marked over here, of course, because they can't get another free shot out of it. So next, continue on. We now have some more movement over here. The command tanks, my command tank, Panzer 2F, as well as the D that's associated with him, kind of moving up to get kind of more visibility and help provide fire support. And then continuing on here, I think I was doing some range checking there. So now we bring up the other recon vehicle. He's going to come up to try to get closer and maybe do some damage against the anti-tank gun. And then we've got some more movement. Realized here we've got the SPW 251-10s, which they have a decent, it's not great, but a decent anti-tank gun here. If I go over here to my half tracks and we go over here, where are they? There they are. And you take a look over here, they've got a 37mm anti-tank gun, has some fairly decent penetration over here. I know they're going to be, you know, they've got to keep moving because they're going to be in danger if they do get fired upon. But I need as much firepower up here because we have so much coming out at us. We've now got the S-35 here. We've got the H-35s and the anti-tank gun up here, as well as these long-range guns over here. I need to start knocking things out as quick as possible. So these are going to move up, kind of help support the attack and try to knock things out quick as possible. We've also got our forward observer. Forward observer just deployed. Yeah, he's right there. Forward observer is right here. So he's now deployed as well. So hopefully he can get some smoke. This is going to be one of my little tricks over here. He may direct smoke in over here to kind of block the view of, or at least hinder the attack of these guys down here for now. They're too far out of range. We can't close on them that quickly. I'd like to take care of these guys as quick as possible and maybe dash around here to even avoid them, make them move, make them get out of there if possible. All right, so moving on here. We've got some other kind of movement of the tanks. Here's another one of the 251-10s moving up. And then we come to the end of turn. So that's the end of turn 2. Quite a bit of action in terms of unit discovery. A lot of French units up front. We still have some down here which are going to be an unknown. They may come out the next turn, turn 3. We'll try to go after the S-35 here and knock them out, as well as these guys up here quickly to try to open up our corridor as fast as we can to get up the road, because we're still going to encounter units up here from around this angle here to here to here once we get past these units. Also, these units down here are going to have capability of coming after us as well. So I'd like to establish some sort of base up here and try to, again, continue to go over here. But I've got a little bit of a problem because I'm going to need to block these guys, somewhere around here with smoke so that I can get up and into this area. So quite a puzzle. I like what it is, the way it's going so far. A little bit advanced because you got a lot of action coming at you pretty quick here, and I need to be careful in terms of what I'm doing, and hopefully it'll turn out good for me and then good for this solo game. So that'll be it. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying this, and stay tuned for turn 3.